So, a question I get all the time is, what is it like to be an author? And to be honest with you, it was like a psychological shift because of the way that people saw me. Um, but it doesn't feel any different. Like, there's nothing different about Ashley pre author and Ashley post author. I think the level of awareness of myself has changed, especially after I've written the book Stigmatized. Um, because that book required me to dig a little deeper, do a lot of introspection work, and be able to grapple with some of the difficult times in my own life. But it's work like every other little piece of work. Like, I'm just doing what needs to be done. So the process of writing itself was like me writing an essay for my master's program or for my nursing school or anything like that. So that process was building your framework, designing the concepts, and then kind of free flowing through your thought process. All of that was actually the easy part because I'm very academically like engaged. Like, I know how to do that. I'm a nurse educator, all those things. um the anxiety that led up to the launch was a real thing. And even though I wrote the book Ace's Medicine, right, like launching the book Stigmatized felt a little different. And it did cause a little bit more anxiety, probably because I knew more about what went into being an author, what went into the launch. I did invest a lot more into this book than I did with Ace's Medicine. Ace's Medicine kind of just came to me, and I was doing it and hoping for the best throughout the entire process. Whereas this book, I want to drive impact with this book. And so in order for me to do it, it can work, but I felt like it needed to be executed in a very specific way. So everything leading up to the book being launched, uh, getting all the people to who bought during the pre-launch to know that the book was coming and that it was an option and that they could get it, and finding people who maybe I didn't know who would be willing to endorse the book was also a thing. But do I feel different? No. I mean, even asking all the people who supported the book, it was legitimately just, hey, are you interested in what I have to offer in this book, Stigmatized? And would you mind supporting this process? And so, super grateful. But I don't feel any different. Like, everybody that I asked, I have a relationship with, or want to, or intend to build a relationship with them, and also offer them support as well. And then now that the book has released, this is where the long game work comes into play. So continuing to maintain and build up that hype and the momentum and the velocity is also part of the work that goes into being an author. A lot of people feel like the work of an author happens during writing the book. And I was a victim of that thought process too. Please, the stigma, let it go. What you think ain't always what it is. And so now it's about building up the momentum and the traction over time, so that way the book itself can expand outside of my realm of awareness. The people that I know, the people that support what I do, know what I've done in the past, right? Because I feel like before the book Stigmatized was released, I was only known as a cannabis nurse. And I was known as a children's book author in the cannabis community, but now with this book, this memoir style book, it kind of changes the perception of like my role in nursing to a lot of other people. It just expands the awareness of me, I guess. I don't know. But I think the weirdest thing that happens that feels weird now that I'm an author, and probably has been happening for some time, but I'm just now recognizing it, is that people can identify me through my work. So when they meet me, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, wow." Like like I'm some sort of elevated figure, and it's like, "No, I'm just Ash doing what she knows how to do." Doing what she trying to express her gifts and her skills. And, being a first timer at a lot of this stuff, or a second timer at a lot of this stuff, and just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And, with the mission and a vision, just like any other business, um, that's put in place. So if when the question is asked, what's it like to be an author? I don't really have a short answer, which is why I did the whole video. And like, what is it like to be an author? I'm like, good. It's just good. But it's not just a good, it's an experience. It's a whole adoption of a role that is perceived um, by other people. And especially when they get a chance to read your book, they get an inside look into me, right? When you read Stigmatized, it is a manifestation of me. And whoever does decide to read it, they are getting an inside look into some of the experiences that I've had and the things that I've learned. And so I think the biggest thing for me isn't necessarily the fact that now I call myself an author. It has more to do with the level of intimacy and the wide range of people that have access to that information. And so for that reason, it's a surreal type of feeling when I engage with people who know me through my work, who have read my book, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I resonated with this part here, or I felt this there. And then it's this idea of like, and people are always really shocked that I'm normal when when I talk to them. They're like, wow, like you're super normal. There are a lot of things that I don't know, and I'll say I don't know. There's a lot of things I do know, and I actually teach that to people, especially through my branding new program. Um, but it's all based on my own research and experience and things that any person has the capability of doing. So um, I guess to answer the question, what's it like to be an author? I don't know. I just feel like it's part of my life journey, and it just is. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to create in this way, to be able to offer people with uh, these stories to help them navigate through what stigma looks like for them, because everybody's version of stigma is different, and to highlight the things that are not spoken about, not talked about, that are hidden under the rug. And especially as a Black woman myself, a lot of stuff gets pushed under the rug, and it probably happens in other communities too. But I know that's something that shows up in my community often. So for me, I am just very blessed and thankful to be able to have the opportunity to kind of take it out the rug and give other people an opportunity to identify what they too keep under their rug. So for me, it's not really about being an author or authorship, although I do have to accept the role because I have a book. The role itself doesn't mean too much to me. It's about the experience that I'm having, and I'm doing my best to make the most out of the experience, to engage with the most amount of people that I possibly can. And so, yeah, that's me. And as an introvert too, it's interesting because being able to set those boundaries become exponentially more difficult. So you know how that goes. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Let me know if you're interested in also writing a book, because I know a lot of people, ever since I've written my book, people will come to me and they'll be like, how did you write your book? I really want to write, like, I have my own story that I know I need to put on my paper, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get it on paper. I feel like I've run into writer's block. How do I get started? Like, people have been asking me all these things. So I'm wondering if you too are interested in writing your own book. I want to know in the comments. And if you were about to write your own book, what would it be about? I'm curious. I can't wait to hear from y'all. Talk to you soon. Oh, you can follow me on Instagram at Cannabis Nursing Solutions. Talk to you soon. Bye.